everyone, my name is Vina, aka Miss WOCReader, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about my most anticipated books by Black authors for 2026. And I'm gonna admit, it was kind of hard choosing books because normally around this time of the year, you already start to get a lot of publishers sending you arcs for at least the first half of the year, and there are a lot of buzzy debut titles that are coming out. This year, not so much. A lot of the books that I was seeing were by authors I already read in the past, and I've kind of made my decision about them because they've been out for a minute now. Or, like, I was seeing some books here and there that just felt like everything else I've already been reading lately. There weren't a lot of buzzy and exciting books, particularly in fantasy. I've been scouring the publishers' catalogs, but where are all the Black fantasy books? And it feels like they're not really announcing too many of the offerings yet. So that's not fun. But I was able to come together with a good mix of authors I haven't really read before and are newer, but also authors who are established, who I can't wait to read again. Year of the Mer by L.D. Lewis. So more people are probably familiar with L.D. Lewis from her short story work as well as her novella. I think this is like her first full-length novel, and it's with a bigger publisher. So this is described as a Little Mermaid retelling. The fairy tale mermaid Ariel might have gotten her happily ever after, but her granddaughter Yemi is having a much harder time. Her father, the king of Ixia, was assassinated years ago. Her mother is slowly dying of a poisoned wound, and she faces whispers and slights from her own people. Yemi has been raised as the shield of the kingdom and is soon to inherit the throne, but she cannot shake her fury at how Ixia has treated her family after all they've sacrificed. Only her patient mother and steadfast personal bodyguard and fiance, Nova, help Yemi rein in that fury most of the time. Okay, so I am obsessed with mermaids. I love almost anything mermaid, and Black mermaids automatically had to put it on my TBR. Next I have A Day of Breath by Darby Cox. Ali is Niawa's longest serving champion, a warrior given magical strength. She stands alone at the edge, protecting the kingdom from demonic hordes that emerge from a rift between the realms. But her powers are fading. She has to find a way to get them back, and fast. An answer comes when heir Fallon, distraught when he is not chosen to be the next ruler of Niawa, attempts to change his fate by convincing Ali to leave the edge for the first time in 10 years for the Day of Breath. It's the one day a year demons can't breach the rift, and Fallon's invitation is a chance for Ali to beg for her strength to be renewed. But reuniting with family and regaining her strength is interrupted when parasitic demons spread through the kingdom. On the one day it should be impossible, as Ali grows weaker and Fallon struggles to take the throne. They have until midnight to find a way to stop the carnage before the rift awakes again. So this seems like it's going to be a very interesting, epic fantasy, and it's by an author who I believe is debuting, or I haven't read her before, so I'm super excited. Burn Down Master's House by Clay Kane. So Clay Kane is already a bestseller, but I have not read his other book. I just thought this sounded so interesting, and honestly, when he put up that little trailer, it got me. As turmoil simmers within a divided nation, smoke from another blaze begins to rise, sparked by individual acts of resistance among those enslaved across the American South. Their seemingly disparate rebellions fuel a single inferno of justice, connecting them in ways quiet at times, explosive at others. As these flames rise, so will they. Luke, quick-witted and perceptive, and Henry, a man of strong and defiant spirit, forge an unbreakable bond at a Virginia plantation called Magnolia Row. Both seek escape from unimaginable cruelty, and sure as the fires of hell, Luke and Henry will leave their mark among the lives they touch. Like Josephine, a young, observant girl who wields silence as her greatest weapon. A witness to Luke and Henry's resilience, she listens, watches, and waits. Then there's Charity Butler, inspired by a formerly enslaved man who found his freedom fighting alongside Josephine. At his encouragement, Charity rises up for her life and family, only to face a deeply unjust system. And finally, there is Nathaniel, who ruthlessly exploits other black people and mirrors the cruelty of the white men who, like him, are enslavers. A perversion of the system of slavery, his rule is both fragile and contradictory. So, I've been actually hearing a lot of great things about this book from early readers. Obviously, I know it's going to be a difficult read because we are dealing with slavery, but based off of what I'm hearing, I am really excited for it. Witch Queen Rising by Savannah Stevens. For New Orleans Witchkin, there is no greater honor than to become the prime chosen to rule. But the title is meant to pass between two rival houses of magic, not to the wayward daughter of the former prime who died under mysterious circumstances. As a girl, Seraphine Perot was dubbed the Tick Witch for her ability to feed on magic and make it her own. Even among those who alter fate and manipulate reality, she was a powerful outcast, feared and misunderstood by her people. Now, dragged back to continue the legacy that nearly destroyed her, Fiend has her work cut out for her. She must earn the respect of her people, navigate the politics of the paranormal communities residing in her city, and heal a broken heart, all the while battling a parasitic curse poisoning Witchkin. Between her werewolf ex, powerful hungry vampires, and skeletons in her family's closet, Fiend must learn to make peace with her past to save her and all Witchkin's future. I'm always on the hunt for adult black fantasy. I love a good witchy tale, and Witch Queen Rising is one that I've been following since it was announced. The Starseekers by Nicole Glover. In the 1960s, the world was caught up in reaching beyond our planet and into the cosmos. It felt impossible, but there was nothing science, math, and magic couldn't make possible. The race to space was on, and the moon was what everyone had their eyes on, including Cynthia Rhodes, a brilliant arcane engineer at NASA's Ainsworth Research Labs. Talented in math and magic, she hosts a magical educational show, a job she took mostly for a chance to regularly see the dashing Theodore Danner, a professor of arcane archaeology. She is also an amateur sleuth, something that has run in her family for generations. When a cursed museum curator nearly interrupts a broadcast of their show, Cynthia finds an eager sleuthing partner in Theo. Pairing up, they begin investigating the strange behavior of the curator and a mysterious theft at the Arcane History Museum, until one of Cynthia's own co-workers perishes right in front of her in a major lab accident that endangers Ainsworth's role in the space race. Certain it was murder instead of an accident, Cynthia sees this as a separate case at first. However, the more she and Theo investigate, Cynthia uncovers a surprising link between the two incidents. The museum theft and murder are part of a larger equation, one that includes deadly enchantments, rumored pirate treasure, a peculiar plant, and a dire threat to the space program, as well as everything she holds dear. So this is the fourth book in the a murder and magic novel series. This one can be read like a standalone, just like the third book, but keep in mind we are following the Rhodes family. And I really just love how Nicole Glover has started the series where we're following them throughout history, because when we first meet this family, we are meeting them like right after slavery has ended, like after the Civil War, and we are just going down the line into different time periods. So I'm curious to see if she ultimately ends the series in present day. And I just find her takes on these various historical events and weaving in magic to them very interesting. Would I Lie to You by Nicole Blades. What if a covert high-stakes cat burglar is given one last job before she can retire? But the gig is steal the classified code to an innovative genetic editing tool her unaware husband is developing. Ask anyone about Lucille Lou Barlow, and they'll tell you that she's a loving wife and mom, Firebody Pilates studio owner, and kind neighbor. But none of them know the true Lou, because Lou is a liar and a thief, albeit reluctantly lately. She's been part of a dangerous, deeply covert crime syndicate for the last 30 years, with a string of incredible international heists under her belt, and a shoebox full of fake passports, weapons, cash stacks, and skeletons. But when her unsuspecting husband Harry accepts a lucrative job at the nation's leading biotech company, it means moving the family from her familiar Brooklyn base to the well-heeled New England town of Partridge Hollow. Lou sees it as her shot to finally retire from crime life, something she's wanted since her son's birth 8 years ago. But Partridge Hollow isn't what it seems either. Lou quickly discovers that her new Stepford Wives-esque neighbors each have their own secrets hidden inside their mansions, into which she occasionally creeps. She also uncovers the most scandalous truth of all, that this move for her husband's career was orchestrated by her illicit employer. Worse, she's tasked with stealing the highly classified code for an innovative gene editing tool that Harry is developing. This sounds like it's going to be one of those really fun thriller stories that doesn't take itself too seriously, like kind of reminiscent of the ones from the 2000s, and I'm really looking forward to it because I've been craving more of those stories. Death Card by Jasmine Smith. This is another one I heard about a while back when it was announced that I've been keeping my eye out for. On an ordinary Monday morning, 18-year-old Michaela Broussard receives the shock of her life. During a customer's tarot reading at her family's occult shop, she turns over the death card and envisions a beautiful stranger stabbing her in the heart. In order to determine why the girl, Joelle, wants to kill her, she'll have to keep her close. But the more time Michaela spends with her soon-to-be murderer, the more irresistible she finds her. As if imminent death isn't worrisome enough, witches are turning up with their magic stolen, and it's clear some very dark magic is at work. Michaela, as the next witch queen of her coven, is tasked with figuring out who's behind the horrific acts, a mystery that will put her and her power to the test. So it's pretty different from the YA fantasy we've been seeing on the market lately. I love like the idea of this tarot card magic, and I'm interested. Season of the Serpent by Suyi Davis Akumboa. This is the third book in the Nameless Republic trilogy. I cannot wait to see how this story just like concludes. I won't really talk about it too much here because you kind of have to read book 1 and 2 for the synopsis to make sense. But if you read the story, you know there's a lot to unpack. This is Olivia Gray Will Not Fade Away, and it is by Sierra Birch. 7th grade has just started, but Olivia Gray already knows this year is different. Her brother ignores her for his crush, and her friends are laser focused on who likes who, something Olivia has never cared about. All they want to talk about is Robbie, the most popular boy in school, and Crush, the social app that allows posters to anonymously share secrets. So when Olivia unknowingly rejects Robbie's invitation for the fall formal and goes viral on Crush, the way she feels or doesn't feel about boys is suddenly under a microscope. As the chatter about Robbie and dating grows, Olivia starts to feel invisible, literally. Seen only by her new librarian and a friendly kid named Jules, Olivia flickers in and out of sight whenever the topic of romance comes up. All she wants to be is normal, but can she really fit in without disappearing completely? So I read Sierra Birch's Finch House, so Simon & Schuster gifted me this. They had also gifted me Camp Twisted Pine, which my goal is to finish it before the end of this year. And I just thought it sounded super interesting. I like that Sierra writes these very short middle grade books, so I'm looking forward to this one. Lurks in the Night by Sarah Das. So this one was supposed to actually come out this year, and it ended up getting pushed back to 2026, which I'm not mad about because it does give me more time to actually read the book and give you guys my thoughts. Shout out to Disney for sending me a copy. This is a standalone thriller. All Maya Woods wants is to reunite her 3 best friends, Pearl, Erica, and Lystra, for one last epic boat trip to the islands around their Caribbean home before they all graduate from high school. But the girls are forced to make an emergency landing on Anado, an island avoided by locals and tourists alike because of the rumors of monsters and shadows that lurk in its depths. And their yearly tradition descends into darkness as Erica turns up dead. The girls have no choice but to leave her body behind. As their tight-knit community spirals into grief and suspicion, Maya and her friends struggle to understand what happened on the island. Was it simply an accident? Or is there truth to the rumors about Anado? A week later, the community rejoices when Erica mysteriously returns alive and well. But Maya can't seem to let go of her questions. What did they see that night? And who or what is Erica now? As old arguments and new betrayals rise to the surface, Maya and her friends can feel the shadows closing in on them. Something is lurking in the night and they must be ready to face it. So Sarah Das previously wrote a book that was more on the horror thriller side, but I feel like that one definitely leaned more into her romance bag. This one sounds like it is going to be more along the lines of getting into that deep darkness, so I'm curious to see this new direction. On Sunday, she picked Flowers by Yaya Schofield. So I was sent this by Saga Press, so shout out to them because one of my mutuals reached out to me and was just like, we have this new book coming out. I think you would be really good for it. And this is definitely right up my alley. Now, some of my friends have read it when it was indie published. I had not heard about it before. And I would actually be curious to see what changes they made. But this is supposed to be literary horror. When Judith Rice fled her childhood home, she thought she severed her abusive mother's hold on her. She didn't have a plan or destination, just a desperate need to escape. Drawn to the forests of northern Georgia, Jude finds shelter in a house as haunted by its violent history as she is by her own. Jude embraces the eccentricities of the dilapidated house, soothing its ghosts and haunts, honoring its blood-soaked land. And over the next 13 years, Jude blossoms from her bitter beginnings into a wise woman and a healer. But her hard-won peace is threatened when an enigmatic woman shows up on her doorstep. The woman is beautiful but unsettling, captivating but uncanny. Ensnared by her desire for the stranger, Jude is caught off guard by brutal urges suddenly simmering beneath her skin. As the woman stirs up memories of her escape years ago, Jude must confront the cause of violence rooted in her bloodline. So this is another one that is relatively short. I expect it to be pretty fast-paced, and I wanted to read more Black horror. So I love that Southern Gothic stuff. This is my vibe. Let me know if any of these books are on your radar, if they sound interesting to you. I will link them in the description box below. And if you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!